Do you guys remember Nat from the TATI Westbrook lawsuit? Well, it turns out she made a video, but then deleted it. And it contained a lot of information that you all probably should know if you followed the TATI Westbrook lawsuit, the threats, hackings, all those things, right? The problem is she deleted the video right after uploading it, and people who play it now are having the video copy struck. So I'm going to have to do the boring thing here and just tell you my opinion on her uploaded video. I'm not going to be able to play it for you. Maybe I can get some really small clips, but I don't know if I'll be able to because she'll strike me for sure. So let's get into it. Okay, so point number one, some of the people that were involved in the private Facebook group where all that drama came out of have been emailing Nat and communicating with her as her best friends. I find that exceptionally strange considering that some of the things that they said and did inside that Facebook group. As you remember, sharing people's addresses and threatening people, and I won't go into anything more, but I find it strange that those people reach out to her and convince Nat that they are her best friends. Also, they convince Nat not only that they're not involved, but pressure her to make a video explaining it. So the next point is that there's a person named LMN, but this person had essentially filed false reports to the FBI, the police, the sheriff, and to CPS. Also, that person supposedly had talked other people into helping with it, and I guess Nat also helped. One of the main reasons I know this is because the people investigating this told me that that was what they had after Nat gave access to all of her emails, all of her social media, and all of her accounts. So to kind of update you on that, it does seem like they're getting closer and closer to a resolution in finding whoever's doing this. Okay, this part is really weird. So Nat says she made a CPS report, but it failed to go through. It actually didn't fail to go through, but tech isn't a strong point for her, she claims. I don't necessarily believe that myself, but that's just my opinion. She says the other person made 3, but put my email in. It will trace back to her IP as she did it on her laptop along with a fraud report. She wrote the sheriff's report also. See, the problem here is I fully believe that Nat was also involved. I think Nat was willingly involved, and this other person was too. And I think now they're both trying to point the fingers at each other. But that's just my opinion. I don't want anyone getting upset with me. I'm trying just to be real with you about how I feel here. So I'll change my opinion as time goes on if something is necessary for me to. Now, Katie also put these out, just so you know. So these are already public. She reported Saltz and you to the FBI, Saltz to the state bar, and she explained step-by-step instructions on how Salt may hire a hitman to off her. I don't know how anyone believes that. It's just pretty crazy that this is all going on. This is like a weird action movie that's been translated into what they see on YouTube. It's so strange. I've rarely covered something this strange, and that's typically what I try to cover, the strangest, weirdest things that go on out there. I genuinely thought we were friends until days ago. Now I know different. So much makes sense. I already told people my mistakes. I made it clear that I accept full responsibility. I don't know. Part of me, because I know that she gave over her accounts to the FBI and to Saltz, part of me says that I do trust what she says. The other part of me thinks that she's minimizing, but I don't know. I reported for blackmail. Oh, damn, I said it out loud. I probably won't remember to beep it. And threats. I have given Saltz my social media so he can see certain things for himself. She apologizes to KJP. Nat. Now, one thing, KJP is not off the hook. I think she did pretty messed up stuff by blasting this on social media. I think she should have went to her attorney and listened to her attorney's advice. And I really don't think her attorney would have said to blast this, because once you blast certain things out there, whoever's doing these kind of threats and things are going to mimic you, and they're going to try to obfuscate what's going on by adding it into their rhetoric, right? That's one thing that people are spoofing emails following this kind of story, that they're trying to set up other people and make other people look guilty and when KJP blasts those things onto social media, it does nothing but hinder their ability to resolve this. Okay, so then again, these are filing false reports, and I spoke to Saltz. He says, and I'm just giving you this tiny piece, but he says that this is a felony. Filing false reports to the FBI, the state bar, and these types of things are felonies. That's from Saltz, though. Just what he told me. She said that her mental health is not an excuse, and she added Saltz in for proof of delivery. So anyway, it's so strange. So then she tries to say that certain people were kind but had zero involvement in any of this. I don't know. I seem to think the opposite here. I seem to think the opposite. So LMN had her friends help her, but the people above were not involved. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. They are appalled and disgusted at the current situation as much as you are. Bullshit. This person in particular was manipulated. Whatever. Wow. I manipulated her to post my screenshots as told by LMN. It's not her fault but mine. Oh, sure. Sure. I've told the police everything, but I want you to know because these people's lives are at stake also. I kind of don't know because you shouldn't be contacting her. You did a massive amount of harassment against her. So one thing KJP does is try, and I'm going to give a crazy criticism towards KJP in just a little bit, so just be ready for that, all right? So it says, who's Sally? I don't know who Sally is, but one thing I want you to know is, if you look right here, I need to know who in the community helped her. And then Katie says, I appreciate you. And I do think Katie's trying to kind of, you know, butter her up to get the information. Obviously, she wants to file reports. Well, it just so happens she ends up naming a few people. So throughout this whole thing, she mentions the FBI a lot. I do believe her to an extent because I was interviewed. But right here, I will send him a message explaining the circumstances surrounding it. She says she needs Saltz's permission to be able to give Katie a list of names. And that's my first clue, of course, that she is, you know, how do you say? That she's trying to protect some of her friends, in my opinion. That's my opinion here. I find it interesting. She names the same people that have been doing this since back in December of 2019, a year and a half ago. And the thing is, they're still doing it now. After all that time, they're spending every day looking into this and tracking her along. And it's fine if they do that to watch videos or criticize videos. But it's not okay if they're trying to file reports and go behind the scenes and do this kind of stuff, okay? So another thing that I just find off the wall is she shows herself just spam messaging Preacher Boy. If you remember Preacher Boy, he did an interview with KJP. So they spam message Preacher Boy. He doesn't respond barely ever. And I just find this so insane. I don't know how she can show this without realizing how crazy or creepy or whatever words you want to use, like how stalkery it is. Why would you DM spam someone just because they had someone on their show? Okay, maybe publicly tag them, show them something, but it just baffles the mind. So this is the problem I have. Nat tries to say that she genuinely believed that it was her fault. She was being threatened and blackmailed, gaslit, and manipulated by LMN and her friend. Now I know different. I'm putting things right best I can. Trying my best, explain to the sheriff what LMN did, explain to the police about the entire situation, and they are investigating LMN for the threats, blackmail, coercion, and control. But outline my message I sent you in confidence isn't fair, and the statement outing my message. So this is her writing Katie after Katie spammed it on social media. Along with the statement you made alongside it isn't factually correct. I'm not hiding behind my actions. I told Preacher Boy it was you because at the time I thought it was. Why did... Oh, I can't. I just can't. I don't know how. I don't know how they don't see that. They don't see it. They think it's normal. This is just normal or something. As soon as I realized that it may not be, I have tried to put things right. I'm not a hacker, not a spoofer, not responsible for sending threats or emails. I'm pretty sure I know who is responsible. I trust the FBI, I trust Salts. I apologize for hurting you and your family. I'll provide everything to the police. You just said you already did provide everything to the police. You just said you already did. Before this. So this gets really crazy because she says that this other person threatened her and her mother, but why not show that? The only thing you're showing is you spam harassing people. Why not show this person doing this so that people know what you're saying is true? Because this whole thing is full of so many contradictions. It's why I think that she is striking anyone that plays the video. So KJP responds by saying, I've been put in harm by what you have done to me. You tried to get my son. We can't read the rest. But she said, you've tried to interfere in my life. Leave me alone. And then Nat says, I was on call with this person when you, in quotations, fake you, message and rang. How was I to know? Why are you even doing any of this, though? Oh, goodness. You can't believe anything that happens on the internet, Nat, without evidence, okay? You got to learn this. Rule number 1, you don't believe it without evidence. Let me move on. Oh, I'll just say it now. So KJP at some point blasts all of this. And that's when she was on Twitter with that giant thread. I'll see if I can go find it and show it to you. If not, who cares? But she basically takes what Nat's been telling her and she goes out and then tells everybody. This upset Nat. Nat expected her to keep it quiet. I don't know why. If you guys can sit in the background and in public and blast someone like this, I don't know why you're mad that they put it out. But I'm going to criticize KJP now because KJP doxed a bunch of these people. She took names that Nat gave her. Some were first and last names and not internet names. Just blasted them out. I really think that KJP should have given it to the authorities or turned it into her lawyer and actually pressed forward with legal action. One piece of advice to her, because I do think KJP's watching my videos after she attacked me on Twitter the other day. If you want anyone to take you seriously, you need to move forward with legal action. At least with criminal action, because you don't have to pay anyone to do criminal action. And nobody understands how you haven't done this yet. Now, I know that once you started talking to Saltsy, you started working with the FBI. Because Saltsy's been working with them for months now, like a good long minute, since the first threats came in. But I just don't understand why you're not pressing it further when this is happening to you. This is a wealth of evidence that you could have taken straight in. I hope you did, but I don't believe you or Nat did. So, also, I do believe, though, that Saltsy, since Nat gave him all these things, gave it to the FBI. And I believe Katie is now working with them. Maybe she can get a resolution for this so that we can all go back to people criticizing her without this extreme cyber stalking and harassment happening in the background. Because even she doesn't deserve it. And that's just the truth. Nobody deserves it on the internet. Nat doesn't even deserve it after doing all this. It's just so ironic when you read what Nat says. She says, no one deserves to feel unsafe. The irony. Okay. Also, LB was struck. If you remember LB, she had her video struck by Nat. Other people have. And Nat's been working really hard to take these videos down off the internet. It's why I've just decided to blur everything on my screen. I'm going to blur it. And I'm just giving you my opinion on this stuff so they can't strike me. Without breaking YouTube's rules and getting in trouble. This part is crazy. So Nat says, what the hell? Okay, so Nat made a little label, and it's like all the emails that have this little yellow dot, she's labeled as hacking, Kit Kat, shit. Kit Kat. And these are supposedly hacking or people spoofing and harassing her. Now, I don't know why somebody doesn't just close their email account, block some of this stuff, switch to an email account that other people don't know about, maybe turn this email account over, and supposedly she did, and then stop using it. It's pretty insane. So they're sending, if you can't, you're not going to be able to see it, so let me describe it to you. People are sending Nat messages as Michael Saltz, as Clark Swanson. In the subject line, this one's really crazy. So it says it's from Michael Saltz. It says Steve as the subject line. Yes, Steve. And it says, we have placed your son's details on ... The ones from Clark Swanson say, I want you to put a video removing, and then also Tina, that one of the doxers and long-term harassers in this story, Tina. So I don't know, man. Like, it just, the people that were harassing Katie, not criticizing, and I know there were lots of people criticizing, and a small group of people doing the worst stuff. The target of the RO, if you recall, the NDA and the RO I just showed you on Rock a Lot. Those people have been harassing her for a year and a half. So yes, I believe those people are behind this. 100%. And just to click through this, I wish I could show you more stuff and I could just show you this, but I'm not going to chance it. And yeah, just a lot of emails. And she scrolls through the emails, and it's strange to me. Why would Steve and Tina and these other people, the people that were involved with the fake screenshots from 2019, reached out to Nat when she got involved with this? That should tell you something. That should tell you something. One thing it should tell you is that back when we put out our video and told you who was behind this like insanity against Katie, not the criticism and stuff, but the real life interference, they're still doing it. They did it the whole time. And this is just evidence, because why would they contact Nat? Why would they interact with Nat? Especially when Nat is part of the lawsuit. As soon as that happens, you don't want to be contacting her, because you could get yourself dragged into it. And not from a perspective of turning in evidence you have to the authorities or whatever. I mean from the perspective of in trouble, right? Or, you know, pulled in. So, I mean, just the fact that these people don't care and that they put themselves in that position by interfering with Nat while she was a witness in this, it's too much. Then to know that this pocket of people were all working together. This is the messed up thing. All of these people that she named, that Nat named, were in the Facebook group that led to the RO and the NDA. So they didn't stop. They didn't, you know, they've made it their life's goal not to criticize or talk about public things, but to go in the background and try to affect witnesses, people that are working in the lawsuit. And the good news is there has been a few extra people interviewed by the FBI, to the point now that even a couple people that hang out with this group of people have been interviewed by the FBI. And because of that, they've gone out and talked about the information that they know now. So I'm going to give you a few pieces of information that's floating around in the community and is public now. I've said this on Periscope in the last 2 days, so you may know it, but if not, one of the things that the FBI and the people investigating the threats have found is that there are 4 IP addresses where that are of high interest in this situation. And those are IPs that they believe, due to technical research and looking into it, that they believe were not behind a VPN. Those locations are, and I'm going to give you states so that there's no doxing or anything going on. Those locations are Florida, California, Canada, and then the strangest one is Nebraska. I don't know what else that I'm going to tell you here, but I will say they've made a lot of progress. And I don't think that Salty's going to get mad at me for saying this, but they have like escalated things, and now the investigation that's going on is more than, you know, official and decided upon, and it's actually happening. I think all of us are relieved to know that. So that really does mean that the people that are witnessing everything and that are commentating on this now can kind of take a breath and relax, because all the threats, all the harassment, you guys know that Emily Baker was harassed and threatened. Saltsy was. Pretty much anybody that was talking about this whole situation whatsoever got some of it. Now everybody can take a breath and relax, because if anything else happens, we just turn it into them, and they use their technology and their resources to figure out what's going on. So there's your update. I do want to say something to Nat. These random people that are connecting to you off the internet, they're not your friends. They're all doing it because they want something from you, or they are trying to manipulate you in some way. And the people in your life, and the doctors and people like that, are the ones that are going to have your best interest at heart. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.